Women are always going to be jealous. What's changed about that? Women have been jealous all the way through time. So
I'm not jealous in my marriage.
I don't care about your marriage. I'm talking about mine. What my life is going to be. So I don't answer to you.
Very few women can see the world for how it actually is. Do you like it? No. Do you want a man that's going to cheat on you? No. Will you accept it? You're already accepting it.
If my daughters that are overly spoiled and educated in every way and have friends all over the world and world traveled in the best schools in the world, if they have a problem with me at the end of the day, then they can kick rocks too.
If he did cheat, he's a damn good man from hiding it from all of you.
I see her rolling up over black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad.
So there's a certain manosphere guru I've always found incredibly off-putting. I believe in the past I fondly referred to him as sleazy rather than sexy. You remember him, Discount Tate? Yeah, or as I like to call him, that ginger cunt with the shit little beard who looks like he reeks of cheap aftershave. I'm allowed to say that. There's red in this hair. This is ginger on ginger crime. That's right. I'm suffering from internalised gingerphobia. Firstly, to explain why I'm being so mean to poor old Ginger Justin, I know, hasn't he suffered enough? Let's just go over a few points up front so you understand my reason for targeting this particular caveman isn't just because he's LARPing as the bad boy from a Wattpad fever dream, but because his advice, attitudes and appearance, the tight jeans gave me PTSD, are genuinely toxic waste levels of terrible advice for men. He's the guy who said that sex is when you have a woman at her most vulnerable, so that's when you should program her. I've played that clip before on my channel, but shall we remind ourselves? This is during a conversation with his good buddy and self-proclaimed pimp, Andrew Tate.
So what will happen if I put a girl in those kind of scenarios and she doesn't act right or doesn't make the right choice? I'll keep her. I'll keep fucking her. But I'll fuck her different. You understand? You understand?
He's not doing that thing anymore.
She's going to feel it different.
Yeah.
And afterwards, she's going to be like, you don't love me anymore, do you?
Where's this going?
You've threatened intimacy.
Yeah.
You've threatened intimacy.
And it hurt her bad. And she got her ass in line fast. You go from all that nice shit to just fucking her like she's, but not in a good way like she's nothing, in a bad way like she's nothing. The real G's know what I'm saying here. There's a difference.
Yeah,
there's a difference.
And you'll speak to this about it's because in that moment you have her in her most vulnerable place.
That's right. That's right. That's
vulnerable
women, especially during sex. That's when women are most programmable because they're most vulnerable. Like if you get a bitch and she's just about to come and you start saying in her face, "I'm gonna cheat on you, you fucking slut," and she comes while you say you're gonna cheat, she's gonna end up getting horny next time you cheat. I know it sounds crazy. There's ways you can fuck her like she doesn't mean anything in a way that she enjoys, and ways you can fuck her like she doesn't mean anything in a way she doesn't enjoy. The G's of the game know exactly what I'm talking about.
Dick, bro.
And you can do that gradually over time. If she ain't acting right, you can change the way you fuck a bitch to make her start to get insecure about he doesn't actually care, he doesn't actually like me. And that will shock him.
Charming, I know.
It's because in that moment you have her in her most vulnerable place.
Another instance I briefly criticised Waller in the past was for an appearance on Pearl Please Pick Me I'm Desperate and Hate Myself's podcast, where he was sat next to a woman talking about how distraught she was because she was almost certain that her partner was cheating on her. Waller was trying to convince her to be okay with it and even gaslight her into thinking she didn't have a right to be hurt or angry, because in his mind it's totally normal behaviour men have a right to engage in. Honestly, I found it really quite sickening.
Because what you're really not accepting is him as a man, because men are this way. And I don't say that to make a point. I say it because it's true. He wants to love you more. He can't because he's scared of what he's going to lose if you see who he really is and he can't bring the truth to you.
Waller does this thing where he speaks in this fake compassionate tone, like he actually cares about the people that he's talking to, while actually only serving his own ego as a way to justify his worst impulses.
I'm genuinely trying to help you. Like, you're obviously a sweetheart. We've been talking on Instagram for, 6 months about going on your show? Like, what bothers me about this for you?
It's deeply manipulative and insidious, even more so because of his branding as just a simple southern gentleman, like, my mama taught me good manners and how to treat a lady right. I'm as wholesome as apple pie. That's clearly what he's going for, the brand. So before people get upset at how mean I'm going to be to Justin the Ape Man Waller, how could you say such things about a chap with such a pleasant demeanour and nice manners? He's so caring and he doesn't mean any harm. No, he's not. He's just mastered the art of slimy fake compassion. He's a pseudo-gentleman with a facade of courtesy and sensitivity. Forgive me if I don't hold back when criticising a man who thinks it's appropriate to not only emotionally traumatise, psychologically manipulate and weaponise the vulnerability of his own girlfriends, but who also goes on dating shows and gives that advice to other men. So, Mr. Waller, take a seat, my good sir, and let's unpack the very unsettling fact that you've somehow convinced yourself you're some real-life version of Christian Grey.
I'm used to getting my own way.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Galatea, and this, yes, it's Acis, my dearly departed. And today we're taking a look at the fascinating psychological phenomenon of the manosphere guru who's based his entire personality on a character dreamt up by an insane woman who wasn't talented enough to write a real book, so wrote 50 Shades of Grey instead. Meet Justin Darkness Waller, our case study.
Is it dark? Yeah. But listen, if it's not me and you against the world, if the love's not dark, if it's not me and you against everything that everybody's saying, I don't want that love at all.
So I'll be honest with you guys, this isn't an entirely serious video, and it was only intended to be a little short, you know, like the one I did on Pearl's fans a little while ago. However, there was just so much things that I wanted to say about this man that it's ended up, classic me, as I suspect, it was a very long script, so I suspect it'll be a very long video. But this was somewhat accidental. As I've said, I've kind of wanted to start going in different directions. And I'm working on a couple of other long videos as well, similar to the Nepo Babies video. So, as I said, I do want to branch out in my content again and focus on other things. But I'm afraid that Mr. Waller is just such a treasure trove of bad advice that I could not help myself. As I said, I have been aware of him for a while and briefly criticised him in the past, but recently I saw a short of him implying that Jordan Peterson is not a good role model for men. And when I saw that meant I couldn't resist making this video any longer, because it is laughable that Justin Waller is the one criticising Jordan Peterson for giving men a subpar example of masculinity. So I decided to analyse if his masculine psychology is any better. Spoiler, it isn't. Seriously, for young men, if you are feeling lost in life and you don't know who to listen to build a fulfilling, healthy life and relationships where people respect you, Jordan Peterson has some actual good advice as well as an understanding of psychology, whereas Waller is the manosphere equivalent of a Kardashian. Cheap, tacky and vain. So, some of you may well recognise Justin Wattpad Waller from his appearance on the Whatever podcast, where he butted heads with Catholic pro-life campaigner Lila Rose. Lila Rose calmly questioned him on his beliefs, he was unable to satisfactorily justify his behaviour, revealed the lack of logic and selfishness motivating his actions, making him no better at all than the type of women that he and his manosphere pals like to criticise, making it blatantly clear that he totally lacked all of the discipline, impulse control and selflessness that even he would agree are essential in healthy, mature masculinity, and Mr. Waller, thus outed as a fraud who has no business trying to teach men how to be masculine, failed to even remain stoic and polite in that moment, resorting to personal attacks and calling Lila Rose an annoying goody-goody two-shoes out of nowhere in order to deflect her questions. It's worth pointing out that, yes, while she does have a certain religious air, shall we say, about her, Lila Rose had been perfectly cordial with him and remained so even after the insults. And the result of this interaction was that most people, even his own followers, from what I could see, all seemed to agree that, yes, he was indeed triggered by her.
Can I ask you one more question?
Fire away, honey.
Okay. If you have only one place in your heart for one woman, or you want to have one woman in your heart, I think you said, why don't you just commit to one and choose to be faithful to her?
I'm just not wired that way. I spent my whole 20s trying to fix myself. Thought something was
You're a man
wrong
of
with me.
self-control. You work out, you do business.
Yeah.
You can possess your own power and direct it the way you want to direct it.
It's just not how I am. It's not how I am.
You think that might be a limited mindset?
I think it's none of your business, but I don't want you to think I'm triggered by you. I'm not.
Okay.
I saw somebody say that, and I think that's interesting. I think you're annoying, but I'm not triggered. You know what I'm saying? No, you are. You're annoying in like this goody two-shoes type way, and that's fine. I'm going to live my life on my terms, unapologetically.
This underlying weakness, inability to take criticism and insecurity, is common in this particular breed of manosphere guru. And in their case, I think it is fair to say that the overly macho act is compensating for their psychological fragility. Every time that I have seen Justin on a podcast, he's sitting all intense in the corner, trying to be moody and brooding, with a constant pout on his face. The pout. Oh my goodness. Look, I don't think red pill guys realise how obvious and embarrassing it is when they're trying way too hard to come across as manly and hold frame. All I imagine is going on in their heads, like in that moment, in a constant loop, when they're doing that, is hold frame, hold frame, hold frame, be cool, seem tough, be moody, chicks love that, hold frame, don't fucking smile at her joke, bro, bitches have got to know they're not funny, hold frame, she's got to know her place, if you show her any warmth, she'll think you're a weak beta and dominate you. That's what I imagine he is thinking when he talks to these girls on these shows. Don't you have any confidence in yourself? Like, it's when you try so hard one way that has a complete opposite effect. So many of them that like, all I hear, all your body language in just trying so hard, it comes across as I'm a loser, oh no, a human female, yes, I am a loser and I'm desperately hoping that you won't notice. Like, it says you have such a lack of confidence in yourself being natural, that you've got to make yourself so awkward and uncomfortable. That's all I read it as, and I think probably most women as well, I don't know, but... I mean, I don't know who over the age of 19 needs to hear this, but trying so hard to be cool is notoriously very uncool. And also, by the way, Justin Waller, he does care. He cares a lot. He cares so much. We'll get to his obsession with his image later. Also, hilariously, in this exchange between them, Lila Rose seems like a mother telling off her surly son, which is exactly how Waller is behaving.
How do you think you're gonna get to the place of that marriage you want with that family and that lifelong love that you just talked about?
I didn't say I didn't have family or children. I just said
I
it was none of
see.
your business.
Oh, I see. Okay. So you want to keep it private, is what you're saying?
That's what I
I
said.
understand.
Justin has enemies.
I might have multiple family.
Oh.
You never know. I might like family more than you. So much I have 5.
Do you think that's a good thing to have multiple families?
I think it's good if there's one dad and there's not a bunch of step parents involved, and the dad can be the hero, and those 5 families live a 10x better life than they would have otherwise. Yes, ma'am, I do.
But you don't think that it will be ultimately an opportunity for jealousy or disharmony amongst
Women are always going to be
families?
jealous. What's changed
I'm not
about that?
jealous in
Women
my
have been jealous
marriage.
all the way through time. So
I'm not jealous in my marriage.
Well, I don't care about your marriage. I'm talking about mine. Well, my life is going to be. So I don't answer to you. So that's my answer. I'm going to run my situation exactly how I want to. And generally, when I do that, that's when I have the most happiness, let's say, in my life. So that's all.
And you would want that for your daughters?
Yeah. I live my life unapologetically on my terms. So if my daughters that are overly spoiled and educated in every way and have friends all over the world and world traveled in the best schools in the world, if they have a problem with me at the end of the day, then they can kick rocks too.
She's like gently questioning his choices, like, is that a good idea, honey? Do you think that maybe you hurt her feelings when you stole her toy and pushed her out the Wendy house? And Justin's response, anyway, I don't answer to you. Maybe I'll have 5 families. What will you do then? Huh? Yeah, I don't even care. I'll do what I want. And no, I won't make eye contact with you. Oh my God, Mom, I hate you. I don't want to go in timeout.
I haven't even said that. I'm just saying, like, if I want to, I will.
Watching Justin Waller on podcast is kind of like watching a teenager trying to be cool, and it's very dull. I don't know how any woman over the age of 21 would be convinced by the act, but then you're probably not trying to get a girl over the age of 21, are you? Sorry, my mistake. According to Nick Fuentes and Pearl, 16 is the sweet spot. Yeah, I'm so glad that the red pill space didn't prove the media right and become the toxic hellhole they were accused of being. You can't accuse the left of grooming when you're saying crap like that. You know that, right? You know that you lose all moral high ground. You know that you can't complain anymore about Epstein or leftist degeneracy. You know you can't do that anymore. You lose that. You lose that ground. Yeah? Pearl? 16-year-olds are hot? Pearl? Creepy Pearl?
That makes sense. So the cardinal thing you look for is loyalty. Can you characterize what makes a loyal woman? Because depending where you fall in the red pill spectrum or even not the red pill spectrum, some guys consider a woman, going to parties or even having a public Instagram account an act of infidelity. So what do you consider a loyal woman?
I would probably have the password to the Instagram account if it got very serious. I'd be able to see every message. Yeah. And she wouldn't have a problem with that because she'd want to be inside my frame. Women don't want space from men they're actually in love with.
So one of the main things that really cemented in my mind that Justin Waller thinks he's a fictional character was this little speech that he gave on a different appearance of the Whatever podcast. So he and this one girl are having this conversation about double standards, and she's quizzing him on why it's fair for a woman to be allowed no privacy in the relationship, which he advocates for, whereas he thinks that he, the man, should have free reign. So that's kind of that conversation. It leads to a very weird conversation they have. He also makes the claim that he should get all of his girlfriend's account passwords because, quote, women don't want space from men?
Women don't want space from men they're actually in love with.
That comment is so revealing, not about women, but about the women around him. Do the women that Justin Waller dates just not have literally any interests? Do they never want a moment alone with a good book? Or do they not want space because they enjoy the activities they can do together with his money, like holidays and fancy restaurants and shopping? Are you sure it's you they don't want space from, or your wallet? Hey, look, might sound mean, but I'm picking up on context clues here from like all the hints he's dropping about how he treats the women around him, what kind of girls he goes for, him bragging about his lifestyle. I'm doing the sums in my head, and I was never very good at maths, but I think I'm probably right in this equation. That equals shallow, can I say shallow women maybe who, yeah. I'm gonna stick by that. I think that's likely. I mean, tell me that you date codependent people without telling me that you're dating codependent people who desperately need attention all the time. Women don't want space from men. Who are you dating? Are they as toxic as you? Look, there's a nuance in this conversation, and I think people are too quick to accuse a guy of being insecure if he doesn't want, for example, his girlfriend going out really scantily dressed and getting drunk with other men all the time. I think it's fair for a guy to have a reasonable boundaries in a relationship without being called insecure. However, if you constantly need to be reading your girlfriend's messages because you're so worried that she could be enticed away through the DMs, that tells me that either you're with a woman who gives you good reason to think she's going to cheat by her behaviour or prior actions, or maybe because you know that she's only with you for the lifestyle, so obviously she'll be gone if a better option comes along, in which case why are you with her? Or you're with a woman who respects you, has given you no reason to think that she's going to betray you, is genuinely devoted to you, yet you are so insecure that you need to be checking up on her all the time just to make sure that she doesn't get away. In my mind, that is a little weird, I'm going to be honest. Especially when it doesn't work both ways. It just sounds like you don't trust her or that you're controlling. I mean, I feel like most guys in secure relationships don't need to be constantly checking their partner's messages because they're secure in the fact that she's with them, that they're not going to lose her to someone else. It's a little desperate. So they were talking about various things on this episode, and one of my main takeaways was that he wants a trophy, not a girlfriend. He was talking about a woman that he can take to meet billionaires on boats in Dubai. Get an escort.
So you can take her with you to meet those millionaires that are going to invest in your deal, or the billionaires on a boat in Dubai.
But look, it goes without saying that this is useless dating advice for the average man, which makes up most of his audience. Because of course it makes up most of his audience, because who else, like, millionaires and billionaires who have boats in Dubai, and they're not listening to Justin Waller for dating advice. It did also occur to me that flashing his lifestyle so obnoxiously and loudly, like all over podcasts and Instagram and everything that he does, you know that you're probably going to attract a particular kind of woman who might enjoy the billionaire boats more than she does your company. If you know what I'm saying.
When men lead with their wallet, it's weak.
You have a warped sample size of women on which to judge all female behaviour, is my point.
That's not really a relationship. It's just legal prostitution. And it's LARPing. It's fake.
Though I have my doubts anyway that he spends all his time on billionaires' boats. So many of these braggy guys turn out to be way less influential and well-connected than they claim. Him and his friends probably just hired a boat a couple of times, you know, like how Andrew Tate did, and then pretended he owned it. Embarrassing.
Sure, does that lack of space go both ways? Like, would she also have your passwords or
Absolutely not. No, she wouldn't.
So how does she feel your genuine love, just from the financial aspect of you caring for her and building her up?
I'm glad you asked that. It's very, very important that the people in the red pill space start to include the fact that you're there for her. You'll sit there with her knee to knee, like you are truly best friends. You are emotionally there for her. I also say a lot that a man should be the mountain that a woman's emotional waves crash into. He should be there for her fully. This isn't like big G pimping type stuff. He's truly there for this woman in every way. They're talking all the time. They're in a constant contact. They love each other. It's true love. Is it dark? Yeah. But listen, if it's not me and you against the world, if the love's not dark, if it's not me and you against everything that everybody's saying, I don't want that love at all. Because that's that boring shit that ends up going off anyway. So many people get married every day in America. They make these vows to be, hey, I'm going to be the best man I can be and all this other stuff. But they come home, they pop open a beer, and they get fat. You want a man that's actually on a mission, that's out there trying to do something so he can make your dreams come true and take you on a carpet ride through time and space. Nothing more.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure that little monologue sunk in.
You don't want to go for a ride, do you?
Just allow me to repeat it in a dramatic reading. You'll sit there with her, knee to knee, like you are truly best friends. You are emotionally there for her. I also say a lot that a man should be a mountain a woman's emotional waves crash into. He should be there for her fully. This isn't like Big G pimpin' type stuff. He's truly there for this woman in every way. They're talking all the time. They're in constant contact. They love each other. It's true love. Is it dark? Yeah. But listen, if it's not me and you against the world, if the love's not dark, if it's not me and you against everything and everybody, I don't want that love at all. 'Cause that's that boring shit that ends up going off anyway. So many people get married every day in America. They make these vows to be, you know, hey, I'm gonna be the best man I can be and all this other stuff. But they come home, they pop open a beer, and they get fat. You want a man that's actually on a mission, that's out there trying to do something so he can make your dreams come true and take you on a carpet ride through time and space.
A magic carpet ride.
Nothing more.
He can make your dreams come true and take you on a carpet ride through time and space.
I can show you the world.
Nothing more.
I read that speech to my brother with no context, and he said, quote, "Is that a monologue from an after movie or something?" Imagine the look on his face when I told him, no, a real man said this in real life without a hint of irony. This doesn't mean anything. Let's be clear. All of that was pure deflection in answer to the question that the girl asked, which was, how does she feel your genuine love just through the financial aspect? He didn't answer. Listen to what's behind the words. He's using a whole lot of language to say a whole lot of nothing. This is an irrelevant ramble. He has been practicing that darkness monologue in the mirror for so long. I am utterly convinced. I'm not even joking. He is pre-prepared so that when a girl inevitably asks why he's such a gigantic, unreliable man-baby, he can pout dramatically and say something about darkness and magic carpet rides over oceans of emotions.
How to take her through time and space. How to make her feel like she's the star in the movie.
So he can make your dreams come true and take you on a carpet ride through time and space.
Making sure that her life is a fucking carpet ride.
Someone's a fan of the 1992 Disney classic Aladdin. Justin, some advice. Girls didn't love Aladdin because he sang the I Can Show You the World magic carpet ride song. The reason we all fancied Aladdin was because he was this lovable, charming, cheeky rogue of a character. He was fun and exciting and inventive with a heart of gold, and didn't just sit there pouting with a stick up his arse, moaning about his inner darkness.
It's true love. Is it dark? Yeah.
This is what happens, by the way, when the pretentious, fake, deep, bad boy, fictional male love interests come to life. This is what you get. Not sexy, not romantic, not deep and complex and anguished. Just so cringe. Fun fact, coming across Justin Waller is the moment that most women realise that if you met the bad boy billionaire character in real life, you would immediately be painfully aware that, oh God, this man has the mentality of the emotionally dysfunctional woman who wrote him. It would be like having an intimate relationship with Colleen Hoover. Let that sink in. I fully believe that this man has spent hours reading Wattpad romances and has intentionally based his entire personality off the male leads in books called things like Billionaire, Bad Boy, Desire, Darkness, and the Devil Who Tamed Me, Pride, Prejudice, and Punishment, Angst and Arseholes. Imagine trying to rebrand being a terrible and manipulative partner as darkness and thinking that makes you sound mysterious and romantic rather than a giant red flag. Justin Waller is every teenage girl going through her I'm misunderstood and thinking being emotionally damaged is cool phase.
It's true love. Is it dark? Yeah.
I'm dark and tormented. You wouldn't understand. You're too good. Not like me. I'm damaged.
I'm just not wired that way. I spent my whole 20s trying to fix myself. I thought
You're
something
a
was
man
wrong
of
with me.
self-control. You work out, you do business.
Yeah.
You can possess your own power and direct it the way you want to direct it.
It's not how I am.
This is so funny. I cannot get over how the way this man speaks is actually just badly written bad boy dialogue. There's a darkness inside of me.
They love each other. It's true love.
I wanted to kill you.
Is it dark? Yeah.
I've never wanted a human's blood so much in my life.
That's just how I am.
This is what I am.
It's not how I am.
This is the skin of a killer, Bill.
I'm just not wired that way. I spent my whole 20s trying to fix myself.
I'm a killer.
He's scared of what he's gonna lose if you see who he really is.
I am a vampire.
If I can't be your hero, then I don't want to save you.
What if I'm not the hero? What if I'm the bad guy?
I know it hurts. I know it sucks. I know it's not a good thing to say.
You don't have human values like you.
It's going to be dark and rough and incredibly toxic.
They love each other. It's true love. Is it dark? Yeah.
But it'll be forever.
Like my own personal brand of heroin.
They're talking all the time. They're in constant contact.
I like watching her sleep.
It's because in that moment, you have her in her most vulnerable place.
I'm the world's most dangerous predator.
It is absolutely true.
You fucking loser, Justin! This man has been binge watching all of the badly written romances he can find. You know, After, 50 Shades of Grey, Beautiful Disaster, 365 Days, and he was like, yes, I too would like a toxic relationship with someone as emotionally immature and codependent as myself. I am willing to bet that his favourite TV show is True Blood. You can see it. Now I've said it, you can see it. Hands down. All of those sexy southern cowboy vampires.
Suck it.
That is who he wants to be.
Aren't you afraid to be out here alone with a hungry vampire?
They love each other. It's true love. Is it dark? Yeah.
Ginger kid gonna tell me about his inner darkness. Shut the fuck up, Justin.
If it's not me and you against the world, if the love's not dark.
I need you to imagine this with me. You're on a date. Imagine you're on a date and he says that speech to your face, like in your face. And he says, it'll be dark, with that motherfucking pout. So he's telling you about his darkness and the magic carpets and how all of the other men are going to get fat, but he's the masculine mountain in the oceans of emotions. Again, I don't think I can stress all these factors enough. And he expects you to look at him like you still find him attractive. Oh my God, girls, can you imagine? Genuine question, does that work for you? You go up to a woman at a bar and you tell her about the carpet ride through time and space and she actually gives you her number. Where's the darkness, Justin? I want to know about the darkness. I have follow-up questions. A carpet ride through time and space? What does that mean? What does it mean, Justin? I've made notes. I'm trying to work it out. I mean, my notes so far just say Justin Waller is a loser, very cringe, prescription needed immediately. I've genuinely written that. He is saying so much, but it means absolutely nothing. This is word salad. Americans are built different. I mean, you say that in the UK. Any part of the UK, you sit there and you talk about magic carpet rides through time and space and your dark romance and a true love against the world. You will never be taken seriously anywhere ever again. They might actually put you on the sex offenders list. Bearing in mind, can we just reassess? Just ground it. Let's remember, the initial question that the girl asked him that prompted this bizarre speech, before the financial questions, the conversation that prompted this was why he gets his girlfriend's password but she doesn't get his. That's the question that this whole conversation was trying to answer about double standards.
Sure, does that lack of space go both ways? Like, would she also have your passwords or
Absolutely not. No, she wouldn't.
So how does she feel your genuine love, just from the financial aspect of you caring for her and
See,
building her up?
I'm glad you asked that. It's very, very important that the people in the red pill space.
She asked a direct question about his controlling behaviour and unfair standards, and he failed to give a clear, direct answer and explain himself. Yeah, that's how manipulators work. I know this video is like a lot of it's a joke, but there's a serious aspect to this, which is why I want to make it. Pay attention to that and stay away from those people. Don't allow someone to distract you from the truth with pretty, or in this case, incredibly cringe, words. He didn't answer the question. He made it about magic carpets and darkness and all of this romantic bullshit to distract her from the fact that he has nothing of value to offer a woman and, quite frankly, isn't going to be there for her, except perhaps financially. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Watch what people do, not what they say. Words are cheap and people lie. Particularly men like Tate and his associates. To get women, to get what they want, and then attempt to placate your criticisms of their toxic behaviour and disrespect of you with empty words.
I'm glad you asked that.
He's glad he was, so he got a chance to do his monologue that he clearly wrote and practiced in front of the mirror. Saying, we talk all the time, we're in constant contact, and it's dark is just another way of saying, I get all of your passwords, but you get none of mine. I get to know where you are and what you're up to, but I will not extend to you the same courtesy. You are no longer entitled to privacy with me, even though I still am. I don't trust you not to flirt with another guy in DMs, but I get to sleep around. And no, it's not controlling, unhealthy, and creepy. It's dark and true love and real, and other kinds of love fizzle out. That's how you gaslight a partner into allowing themselves to be mistreated, because you make them believe that other relationships won't satisfy them and aren't real because they're not dark and true love. So they better stick with you even through all the torture. After all, doesn't torture mean it's real?
If it's not me and you against the world, if the love's not dark, if it's not me and you against everything that everybody's saying, I don't want that love at all. Because that's that boring shit that ends up going off anyway.
Grow up! You're 14! And again, this is also, I would say, like a form of love bombing, all of that. The over-the-top romantic obsession, a tactic, as we all know, Tate advocates for and uses.
A man should be the mountain that a woman's emotional waves crash into. He should be there for her fully. This isn't like big G pimpin' type stuff. Like, he's truly there for this woman in every way.
Well, except when he's off sleeping around. See, emotional neglect and physical betrayal is fine as long as you make it sound poetic about feminine ocean waves crashing into masculine mountains and rebrand being a cheat as dark and true love. So listen, if a guy answers your direct question with an irrelevant ramble about romance and trying to make you feel special, he's deflecting. That goes for guys too. Stay away from girls who do that. These people are manipulators. This is like a commonly known thing at this point. People who have been in toxic relationships will tell you that they get addicted to the emotional swings between the highs and the lows, and from the sounds of it, Justin is weaponizing that to control his partners. And addiction is not the same as love, so Justin can bang on about how he wants darkness, otherwise he gets bored. But what he really means is he's a teenage girl on the inside, unsatisfied unless he's causing drama, having arguments, stirring the pot, and creating that addicting high to low swing that insecure people mistake for love. He's not mature enough for security or peace or devotion. He's told us that. It bores him. This guy will be causing so many arguments and making his partner's life miserable, and then having dramatic, passionate reunions because he thinks he's hardened from after. Grow up. He's actually 14. I said, like, he's actually just 14. Like, get over the teenage angst already. It's fucking embarrassing for a man of your age.
He should be there for her fully.
I love Rolo sitting there nodding during this Wattpad speech. Like, this is the most romantic, profound shit he's ever heard. That's because Rolo just recently learned how to read. Roly-poly is the only one in the room turned on by this speech. He did, I mentioned that in my video. That's another time I mentioned Justin Waller, because Rolo was like, it's funny how Rolo talks about Justin Waller like he's the finest male specimen ever, and a woman would be lucky to have him look at them. He's got it bad. When you hate women so much, you kind of come round to being gay. These men just want to impress other men. Women aren't impressed by this shit because we read it in a Cassandra Clare book when we were 14, and even then it was hack, cringe, unoriginal, and toxic. I don't know if this is offensive. I'm sorry if it is. You know the movie stereotype of the sassy, church-going black woman from the American South?
I'm gonna cut the devil's off and shove it in his ass.
I have no comment on how accurate this is in real life, because I'm not in the American South. I don't know. But I'm talking about the movie stereotype. You know the movie stereotype I'm talking about? Who, like, during a sermon, says nothing except, you know, and preach and hallelujah. Rolo turns into that woman every time Justin Waller opens his mouth.
There it is.
Yeah, because
there
you have done
preach.
Keep going.
Hallelujah.
As a man, like, that's
where I was gonna go.
So it's not transactional.
With my prayers. Amen.
I want you.
Roly-poly, he just needs to get some friends his own age, because this trying to look cool next to Waller and bragging about texting Andrew Tate and hanging out with Myron in Miami, it just feels so much like the loser kid tagging along with the sporty boys at school and thinking they actually like him for him, rather than just because he does their homework. In this case, shoddy research into female nature. I will never stop giving Rolo shit for his age. He is sickeningly gleeful every time he comments on a woman hitting the wall and getting a fucked up kick out of them, in his mind, losing their beauty. And I just personally think that's rich, coming from someone who looks like the reanimated corpse of Gollum. I didn't start it, he started it! He called me a dumb cow first before I ever mentioned Rolo. Also, the recent situation with him allegedly wanting to get his hands on revenge porn of the half his age Brittany Venti to use against her is not just illegal, but also a low I'm surprised that even he sunk to. Again, allegedly. Creepy, creepy goblin man.
Hi. Are you tortured by never knowing what happened to the unreleased scripts from my unfinished video series, like parts 2 and 3 from my review of Netflix's Winx? Are you kept awake at night, pondering what mysteries the 30 minutes I cut from my Rolo video could hold? 30 key minutes where I addressed his unhinged rant that it's impossible for women to have heroes' journeys or be good protagonists. Did you enjoy channel videos like I become a narcissist, I declare war on mosquitoes, and of course, the classic, I talk and 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 talk? If the answer to any of those questions is yes, then joining my online cult could be the right choice for you. That's right. Over at The Authentic Observer on Patreon, you'll get access to unreleased scripts from videos I never uploaded, the cut sections from longer videos, if there are any, and hours of unedited rambles. I talk about everything, like how important mood is in storytelling and the difference, if any, between masculine and feminine points of view in writing. Or a video discussing the poetry of some of my patrons. Or that time Fresh and Fit had a proud grapist on their podcast. Remember Scientology? Old news. The Authentic Observer is the hip new cult on the block. All the cool kids are signing up. You do want to be cool, don't you? There are so many options to choose from. Our entry-level tier, Skirts and Stockings, is a great choice for beginners. Overgrown Harry Potter kids may feel more at home as a devoted follower of ACES. And for the alpha males amongst you, the woodshed could be just what you need. Just don't let Rolo see you. No one knows what he does to the men he catches. The Authentic Observer cult operates on an honesty system. All tiers have the same access to content, the idea being to support the channel and the content produced here at whatever level you feel appropriate. At the moment, I don't take sponsorships, so if you value the content on this channel and would like to support me, that's where to do it. Link down below in the description box. So if, like myself, you enjoy listening to the sound of my voice, hop on over to Patreon for an offer you don't want to miss. Join a cult today!
Hear me out here. I'm genuinely trying to help you. Like, you're obviously a sweetheart.
Well, I just want to be very clear about this. You're looking for a fair situation, but newsflash, the light world is not fair. Like,
Men and women are different.
That man is going to get up and go through stress every day and face the challenges of the world while you have a pretty cush life.
Oh, brilliant. Justin Waller has just told us that men experience stress. Therefore, they're allowed to cheat. Oh, anti-logic. Maybe women should start making the argument that we should get to sleep around to reduce our stress levels. And men shouldn't sleep around because that would be stressful and upsetting for us, which is not a good environment for pregnancy or raising offspring. Yeah. See, that's a good reason that I just invented from thin air just now. Justin actually agrees with me and contradicted himself because recently it's so annoying because I was watching his content to get to research this video. I now keep getting like bloody notifications of every time he posts a community post on YouTube, and it's just annoying. However, I did see this gem. He recently posted this, which just contradicts everything he said there. The world should champion mothers more. It's one of the most physically, mentally and emotionally demanding jobs on the planet. In addition, it's one of the most important jobs on the planet. Gosh, well, since women have the most stressful job in the world, according to you, by your own logic, I think we're the ones who should get multiple partners, and if you cared about us, you'd allow it. Or maybe we should also get to sleep around because it's important that men are competitive, and if they really feel that competition nipping at their heels, they'll stay excellent and on their toes, which will be good for society. Now, I don't believe any of that, but while we're making up bullshit reasons to justify unfair bad behaviours we have no excuse for except I wanna, I'll have a go. I'm sure I could come up with so many more reasons just as silly as yours. Men can cheat because they get stressed and women can't because women have a cush life. Well, first of all, we know he's already contradicted himself because he doesn't actually believe that. But saying, like, who are you talking to? This girl, the girl that you're speaking to, direct, like, is that who you're directing that at? Doesn't she make her own money? Or are you talking to traditional women who raise children? Again, no, you're not, because you contradict yourself. As you said, I scripted this before I came across that post of his, but, you know, because women are famously never put through stress because of their children, and childbirth is notoriously painless, risk-free, and easy. You know, it sounds like the only women that his argument is applicable to are the gold-digging girlfriends of millionaires who don't contribute anything outside of sex. Okay. Illogical. This man, he's so illogical. There is not logic at all in anything he's saying.
Men have always slept with multiple women. It's not fair. It's bullshit. I know it hurts. I know it sucks. I know it's not a good thing to say, but it is absolutely true.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to seduce a series of millionaires, get them to marry me, ambitious plan, we'll make it work, and then divorce them and take all of their money. And when I get called out on it, what I'm then going to do is sit opposite a panel of men and convince them to go through multiple divorces and get used for their money. And when they express disgust at my selfish behaviour, I'll say, in the most pseudo-compassionate, fake empathetic voice I can, like I think they're overreacting a little bit. You're looking for a fair situation. Newsflash, the world isn't fair. Women have always sought resources from men. It's not fair. It's bullshit. I know it hurts. I know it sucks. I know it's not a good thing to say, but it is absolutely true. That's the exact same logic. I even used his same words. Do not even try to fight me on this. If you accept Justin's reasoning, you also have to give me a free pass if I decide to become an intentional, serial, gold-digging divorcee. But of course it doesn't work both ways like that, because Justin isn't actually basing any of his ideas on science and logic, he's basing it on emotions and what feels good for him. You know, like a feminist.
I'm gonna run my situation exactly how I want to, and generally when I do that, that's when I have the most happiness.
So, like, all of his ideology is based on what feels good. I find it hilarious that his corner of the internet is always accusing women of, you're so easy to control by feelings, it's always what feels good, it's what feels... Everything he says is based on what's going to give him the most pleasure and what feels good for him. Like, it's just... Also, pet peeve of mine, I've said this before in the past, but this really it annoys me more and more the more I see it. Can fake alpha men stop using all men as a scapegoat for their terrible behaviours? Like, it's enough now, you know? Men have always slept with multiple women. Man the fuck up and take some accountability, you tragic little boy. Plenty of men are decent, loyal, committed, and do actually have the brain power to control their PPs because they've evolved past the stage of 8. And they probably don't appreciate being used as a shield to justify your lack of discipline, reliability, and self-control. Thought you're an alpha who sets your own path, aren't you? Not one of the sheeple, bar, pretty girl must indulge base instincts, bar.
Men have always slept with multiple women. It's not fair. It's bullshit. I know it hurts. I know it sucks. I know it's not a good thing to say, but it is absolutely true.
Question. Which is worse? Someone who totally dismisses how you feel, or someone who claims to empathise and pretends to care and be there for you, yet knowingly hurts you anyway? I know which one sounds more manipulative and toxic. Which one is probably more likely to have someone insecure coming back for more and begging for scraps of affection. I'm sorry, it's so disgusting. You can fuck with someone's head and mess them up so badly with crap like this.
I'm genuinely trying to help you.
Justin feels your pain. He knows how you feel. He's there for you. He knows it sucks. Aww, he's gonna hold your hand through the pain and pretend that he's not the one causing it. But he's gonna hurt you anyway. Man, you are so dysfunctional. I know you take issue with Jordan Peterson, but you should really start listening to him. Clean your damn room.
I'm just not wired that way. I spent my whole 20s trying to fix myself. Thought something was wrong with me.
You're a man of self-control. You work out, you do business.
Yeah.
You can possess your own power and direct it the way you want to direct it.
It's just not how I am. It's not how I am.
You think that might be a limited mindset?
I think it's none of your business.
Imagine going on public podcasts demanding authority over a woman and at the same time admitting you can't even maintain authority over your own mind and instincts. Why would a woman with any level of intelligence or self-respect follow your lead in anything? I wouldn't trust you to order a pizza. I'd end up getting a home-delivered prostitute. Imagine living with him. You'd constantly be ringing an ambulance. Justin tried to stick his willy in the plug socket again. Something about an electric connection. Useless.
I'm just trying to investigate the asymmetry and why you would have her passwords but not vice versa. Is it that you wouldn't trust her, or is it that you'd want to monitor the messages before they come in so that she doesn't see them first? Like, what is the intention?
No, she would be able to see them. But it's just a trust thing between me and a woman. Like, you would want me to have your passwords. It not even me. If you were in love with said man, you would either want to either get off of it.
There it is.
Or because
there
you have to understand as a man, like you, for example, beautiful woman, very smart too, by the way. I think you've been pretty impenetrable on this show. I'm very impressed by you. This isn't Riz, like just genuine compliment, truly. But your marketing yourself on the internet would be a no-go for me.
I've seen quite a few people do this in debates or just when someone is challenging them on their ideas and they start sucking up and flinging compliments, and it's just one of the most uncomfortable and slimy tactics to try and win someone over. It's not even subtle. I just wanted to point this out because Waller hides behind this shield of pretending to be so polite and courteous, but he's really not. He's just dishonest and faking compassion to manipulate the conversation, and it's really gross. Just answer the question without these deflecting, manipulative, slimeball tactics. You're actually quite smart for a little girl. Have a gold star, darling. Why are you like this, Justin? Just engage with the question honestly, you weaselly fuck. It just feels so cheap and manipulative. But then, cheap and manipulative is Justin Waller's entire personality, so maybe it's not fair to expect him to act in any other way. He does nothing but deflect direct questions with ridiculous sappy speeches that mean nothing, and he thinks that that's going to work. I mean, probably because it has worked for him in the past. As I said, I've witnessed Justin's pseudo-compassion before on Pearl's show, where he tried to convince a woman to accept the betrayal and emotional trauma her partner was putting her through, and Justin sympathised with her, but not enough to tell her that she could expect more from her partner because she should learn to put up with the torment she was so clearly feeling because, well, that's how men are.
Because what you're really not accepting is him as a man, because men are this way.
Listen. If your partner cheats, it's your decision what you want to do about it. But what I will say is, his response felt so coercive and creepy and almost gaslighty in trying to convince her that what her partner was subjecting her to was normal and fair and she should put up with it, and I honestly found it so disgusting. So I found the clip, and wow, it is so much worse than I remember. For context, going into this situation, Justin Waller is talking to this young woman about she suspects her partner's cheating on her, but she doesn't want to know, she feels so hurt about it, and she doesn't want it to be true. He's trying to convince her that she needs to bring it up with her partner, the fact that he's cheating, and tell him that she's okay with it because it's hurting him. Her silence about the fact that she suspects he's cheating, yeah, it's actually really hurting her partner. It's hurting him. And she's creating distance in their relationship by not just telling him, hey, I know you're cheating on me, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. He's trying to convince her to say that to him, to her partner.
I think if it's said once, it never has to be said again, as long as you respect it enough not to try to dig, poke, pry. And I mean this with complete respect. There's a gap between you and him. You were talking about it earlier. You know that he's seeing other women. That's creating distance between you.
I didn't
when you
say
could just
I
talk
know,
about it one time.
I didn't say I know that he is. I don't know.
You said that you have a sickening feeling.
There's a high chance.
Right.
There's a really high chance.
So,
but it just hurts too much to even like bring that up.
Then write him a note. Do something, because I'm telling you what you're costing yourself is if he feels guilt about it, and I promise you he does, especially in the Western world, then what's happening is he's only loving you to a certain degree and he's protecting himself because he's worried that if he gets caught, you're going to leave. But if you could just snap that and let him know that you already know, because you clearly already know, if you could just let him have that, you would be shocked at how much more capacity to love you he would have, because he would be able to trust that he can love you fully.
Yep.
I get that, but it's just, you
get it, but it doesn't feel good. You're scared of it.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah,
then do it. Then be that bold and fix it.
It doesn't feel good, and you have given me something to think about for sure. But like, I'm not a girl with a big business. I don't earn a lot of money. Like this. Like my situation is different where like he provides everything for me. I'm lucky. I don't want to invite any kind of it doesn't feel good. And
if you had to bet money on whether he's cheating or not cheating, what would you put your money on? And I have a follow-up question to that. Life or death?
I think this is a bit much.
No, I don't think it. No, I think it's completely fair. If you think,
I don't think you have to answer that if you don't want to.
You don't have to. I've experienced this. I've been with a girl that didn't know. Okay, and I felt like I couldn't tell her, and because I felt like I couldn't tell her, I would hold back like a piece of my heart because I was terrified that if I gave her the whole thing and she caught me, then it would wreck me. And I'm telling you, that's a wedge
And
that you could stop.
Yeah, but I don't want to sit there.
I know you don't want to, but
it.
unfortunately, it's a rock in your shoe, which is a rock in the relationship, and it's stopping you and him from going to this place where you don't talk about something that's super uncomfortable to getting to like here. Is if you and him were able to have that understanding and not speak of it anymore, and you released that guilt or that burden and that fear of losing you from him, you would get closer. And I think you would be likely to never lose him because of it, because very few women can see the world for how it actually is. Do you like it? No. Do you want a man that's going to cheat on you? No. Will you accept it? You're already accepting it. So why not take the benefit of getting the information that's going to make your love deeper? Because what you're really not accepting is him as a man, because men are this way. And I don't say that to make a point. I say it because it's true. He wants to love you more. He can't because he's scared of what he's going to lose if you see who he really is, and he can't bring the truth to you.
I'm used to getting my own way.
The levels of manipulation here. I hope you guys are listening and paying attention to if someone is speaking to you like this. She's the wronged party. He is telling her, hey, you're not accepting him as a man. You're hurting him. Like, he's making her the perpetrator of causing harm in their relationship. She's like, she's the victim in this scenario. He's flipped it around. I really hope he doesn't speak to his partners like this, although that is like the chance of that are minuscule. Of course he bloody does. If someone is speaking to you like this, it's your fault. If you don't accept these terrible things that I'm going to do to you, you're not accepting me as a man. You're not accepting me as a person. God, how could you? Clearly don't love me. He's actually telling this poor woman that it's her fault. She's making her boyfriend not love her enough because she's not allowing him to be his true self.
I just feel that everything is fine with us how it is. Like,
you say you
it's
feel
amazing.
that way, but you're scared. You're scared. It's not amazing because you're scared he's cheating on you, or you don't like that feeling in your gut because you don't want to give him full permission because maybe somewhere he's not. He is. You already know. You've said it 4 or 5 times.
Maybe. I don't know 100%.
So why don't you lock your position in by having the conversation with him and let him know that you love him so much you're not going to leave?
For example, if I had that conversation with him,
he might put a ring on your finger.
And he wasn't doing that. That's basically giving him a card to go, yeah, I'm just going to
He's going to do it anyway. The difference is he going to love you at 110% or is he going to love you at 75?
That's so not true.
It is absolutely
so not true.
This, by the way, goes on for over 10 minutes. Can you see how aggressively he's berating and picking at this really emotionally sensitive spot on this poor woman? He just keeps fucking going, and desperately trying to get her to be convinced over to his side. And it's obvious why he's doing it. It's because he's trying to justify his own behavior. It's like he's like justifying, working through his own demons basically on this poor woman. But this goes on for over 10 minutes where he just will not drop it, and he's just going on and on really aggressively, but like with the pseudo-compassionate, he is disgusting. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this doesn't translate into his intimate relationships, but this is just like, I just feel like this is obviously how he's going to talk to his partners. It's bad enough to do this with a woman you don't know very well on a podcast, but that level of like, I can just see that that's what he does to the people closest to him, in my opinion, is that kind of language. And like, well, I would just love you more if you know.
I felt that whole spiel was the biggest manipulation I think I'd seen in my face in a very long time.
Where was
where was your feelings? There was no time. It was all, if you tell him, and it was the subtlety in your voice, and I was like, wow, this guy's good. But it's the baritones in your voice. If you tell him that you understand, he'll open his heart up to you.
Yeah, it's true.
And I was literally watching your eyes, and I was like, it's not true.
It is true.
Because where's your feelings in this? If you're already feeling that gut, that gut wrenching, that's actually really powerful, and it's actually very bad for your body that is sitting in there. That's one thing that he's saying that is actually accurate, to have the conversation.
Justin's point will be that
he explained his point thoroughly. It's just what about her feelings?
And Justin Waller doesn't care. He knows this. This is when he talks all the time. Like, he talked to Good Game earlier in this podcast about how much he cares about women. He loves women. He wants to protect women. He wants to provide for women.
It's because in that moment you have her in her most vulnerable place.
But he doesn't care, because he knows that he's doing actual, really deep hurt, causing deep hurt to the women that he claims to love the most around him, consistently, and he doesn't care. He doesn't care about the effect on their emotional health, mental health, physical health. He doesn't care about any of these things. He's so deeply selfish.
Every time I've told a girl this, they leave for a week, and what they really do is go compartmentalize it and really unpack it. And really try to make their mind up.
I'm used to getting my own way.
Hear me out here. I'm genuinely trying to help you. You're obviously a sweetheart. We've been talking on Instagram for 6 months about going on your show. What bothers me about this for you is when you're scared. And I'm not trying to be ugly. In fact, if anything, I'm trying to be helpful to you.
No, I can hear that.
It's because you believe the lie.
If I can find that clip again, I will put it in. But what we do have here is a similar example. It's a slightly less slimy, but no less manipulative example of him expressing the same attitudes, yet still pretending to care and that it's in the best interest of the woman that he's speaking to, rather than just being upfront about his actual motivations, which are self-serving, obviously. So he's trying to convince her that his lifestyle is fine and why she should choose an unfaithful loser like him.
You are at the top of your sexual marketplace value, but let me tell you where you're not. You're not at 30 where you're out of time and you want to have children and you're absolutely in love with the man and he loves you in every way and you feel safe around him. You're not in that position yet, so you can't see an outcome where you would give a little to take a little back. And I'm cool with that. But I will tell you this, when you get up higher in age and the clock's ticking and that man's good to you and you trust him and you feel safe around him and he's truly your best friend and you look up to him and admire him, then you might think differently about how you feel now. And I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm just telling you that your opinion might change in time.
You are saying she's wrong. That's literally what you are saying. She's a child who doesn't understand the world like you do because she's younger than you. Again, it's very patronising. So you get to just dismiss her stating the fact that she won't put up with cheating. This is very rude and condescending. You could just say, that's fine if that's what you want, but some women are willing to put up with what I'm offering. You could say that. But instead, you decide to not believe what she's saying her boundaries are because you seem to have this need that everyone accepts your behaviours. Probably because you're insecure about your behaviours, because you know that you're behaving pretty badly and greatly lacking in discipline. You can't seem to cope with the fact that there are people who genuinely don't want your lifestyle. It's very weird. I also like how his description of a man who loves her in every way is one who cheats. The audacity to lecture this woman for being unreasonable for expecting the bare minimum of fidelity. Meanwhile, you think you're the romantic lead in 365 days, Justin. He's actually, I want you to understand what he's doing. He's actually trying to convince her that it is unrealistic to expect a faithful man. This is how manipulative he is. He is trying to tell her that, yeah, she could have a guy who's faithful to her if she wants a loser, but if she truly wants to experience real love, if she wants a man who will truly love her, well then, that's obviously going to be a man who cheats. I mean, this is a very interesting insight into how you speak to your partners, Justin. Guess she'll never be loved like you love her, never find anyone better, so she better put up with your infidelity. How am I doing? Did I hit the nail on the head? Yeah, that the kind of manipulative rubbish you say?
And you're absolutely in love with the man and he loves you in every way and you feel safe around him.
Also, by the way, what woman feels safe around a man who's constantly cheating? I mean, there's the obvious physical risks, but just emotionally, that's not going to make her feel safe, even if she is putting up with it. She's probably anxious, insecure, neurotic, panicked about being replaced, always worried about competing. Probably also always hurt, as you yourself acknowledged, Justin.
I know it hurts, I know it sucks.
Never feeling good enough. That sounds hellish. I mean, don't pretend this is about making a woman feel safe. I know the fresh and fit dating stance on this. Make a woman feel fear in a relationship, like she can always be replaced, because then she'll get in line and it's easier to control. That's what they say, and I bet you believe that too. From what I've seen of your appearances on Fresh and Fit, you don't seem to disagree with a whole lot of their whole dating ethos. So don't start implying that a cheat is the only man a woman is going to feel safe around. I mean, that is literally the opposite of how that works. As well, the use of innuendos he's using to make his behaviour not sound as bad, everything about this is snaky. Give a little to take a little back. On the surface, sounds like something healthy you'd say in a healthy relationship, and it sounds like a reasonable request. Oh, in a relationship, you have to give a little to take a little back. He's making it sound reasonable, sound like compromise, sound like something that it's not, making it something sound fair out of something that's deeply unfair. It's him and his language tricks and the manipulation there. Give a little to take a little back. What he is actually saying there is, let me cheat if you want to be loved. Justin, if the behaviour that you're engaging in isn't bad, why aren't you just speaking plainly and calling it what it is, rather than these nice-sounding pleasantries and innuendos and making it sound not so bad to cover it up? Many, many men have mastered the impossible art of not tripping and falling into vaginas that don't belong to their wives. Only one of these two people in this conversation have unrealistic expectations and a warped view of the world, and it's not her. She seems pretty sure that cheating is a deal breaker for her. It is for many women. I don't know why this is so difficult for you to believe that people with standards exist, Justin. Actually, I do know. It's because you've never met anybody with standards before. I bet they stay far away from you. Yeah, I would apologise, but look how he poses in every photo that I've seen him in. Yes, I did my research, and I have concluded that Justin Waller will never love a woman as much as he loves his watch. What kind of women are you attracting, leading with that? I'm not surprised you're so insecure. This is clearly your main mating strategy.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm just telling you that your opinion might change in time.
Ladies, if a guy speaks to you like this, and look, I know Mr. Waller's tone is calm and he sounds respectful, but he is actually being incredibly rude right now. These are what we call bad manners, and we don't like those. If he uses phrases like, I'm telling you your opinion might change when you meet a man, and he's using all this kind of language like telling you how it's going to be, in the context of trying to get you to accept terrible behaviours, or something that will only benefit him while steamrolling how you feel or any reservations you may have, calmly stand and make a graceful exit. He's watched too much Tate and now thinks he's some kind of woman snake charmer and believes if he tells you something with enough conviction, he will strong-arm you into doing it and magic mind-boggle you into going along with it. Think I'm looking too deeply into what Justin is saying here? I will remind you, again, this is the same man who went on a dating show and gave men the advice that when they're having sex with their girlfriend, that's when she's, quote, at her most vulnerable, and therefore that's when you should mentally manipulate her into getting what you want because that's when she's, quote, programmable. Forgive me if I'm not showing much charity for the possibility that these little verbal games he's playing with the girls on this podcast are just completely accidental, given his history of advocating for mental and emotional manipulation. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he knows exactly what he's doing with his basic bitch psychological marketing tactics. Slow down, cowboy. Yeah, we've all heard of NLP.
They got all these single women out here talking shit about shit, man. Well, cool. I'll have babies with you. What's up?
Hello, it's a different day. The more observant amongst you will have noticed that I am wearing a slightly different red top and was zoomed in because I am sick and couldn't be bothered to put my stockings on. So I'm wearing trackies. But no one has to see that.
I'm gonna have a bunch of kids. Yeah, I believe in having kids, man. So there's too many dumbass people having kids. Might as well have a smart person have some.
Okay, well, let's say for argument's sake that I'm not smart.
So here's the thing about Justin Waller and his parenting advice. And before anyone comes in and say that it's not advice he's giving, I mean it is. He's giving arguments and justifications for why, that is the lifestyle is the right and proper way to do things, why it's beneficial for the children, why, all these things counts as advice, whether he wants to admit it or not. I don't know, maybe he does say that it's parenting advice, but let's assess. If he was just living his life, being a terrible father and an unfaithful dirtbag, would I care? Not really. It would have absolutely nothing to do with me. I think it's scummy, but I wouldn't make a video on it. If people want to live like that, go wild, be miserable, be degenerate, all while being completely hypocritical and accusing the left of that, but you do you, king. But where I do think his lifestyle deserves criticism, however, is in the fact that he promotes and advises it to men, tries to convince all women to be okay with it, says it's best for children, if you can believe that, and worst of all, actually holds himself up as the standard of morality and claims to be a better person, a more dedicated father, and a more honest man than the guys who have remained faithful to their wives and devoted time and attention to their children. And that I find truly outrageous, sir.
I'm going to live in truth. Here's the difference between me and most men. Most men are doing this shit behind people's back, right? Like a fucking coward. And they're not even giving the family the life that they deserve. So
if you're telling young women like me that we should accept and be happy with that type of behaviour and invite it not only into our lives, but into the lives of our future children, that we shouldn't expect a higher quality of behaviour from men than the very low standard that you can offer, I'm sure there's nothing at all self-serving in you trying to convince women that it's unrealistic not to settle for this. I'm sure your motivations are entirely altruistic, Justin. If you're going to do that, in that case, then I am going to analyse your claims that you're such a good guy and a devoted father, and compare your lifestyle to all of these loser men that you so arrogantly claim to be better than. Is it good advice that we should listen to? Is it?
I think I'll be better than most fathers, regardless of how many children I have. I might have 100.
But let's see how you hold up as the bestest dad and most loving partner in America.
How do you think you're going to get to the place of that marriage you want with that family and that lifelong love that you just talked about?
I didn't say I didn't have family or children. I just said it was none of your business.
Oh, I see. Okay. So you want to keep it private is what you're saying.
That's what I said.
I understand.
Justin has enemies.
I might have multiple family.
Oh.
You never know. I might like family more than you. So much I have 5.
Do you think that's a good thing to have multiple families?
I think it's good if there's one dad and there's not a bunch of step parents involved, and the dad can be the hero, and those 5 families live a 10x better life than they would have otherwise. Yes, ma'am, I do.
And you would want that for your daughters?
Yeah. I live my life unapologetically on my terms. So if my daughters that are overly spoiled and educated in every way and have friends all over the world and world traveled in the best schools in the world, if they have a problem with me at the end of the day, then they can kick rocks too.
See, I'm not a parent, but I don't think you have to be one to know that a very important part of parenting is putting your children first. And I'm afraid that this sounds like all you care about is you. You're not really talking here about how this will affect the children because that doesn't seem to matter to you. In fact, actually, Justin, you said they can, quote, kick rocks if your behaviour as their father upsets them or has long-lasting impacts on them. Wow. You do, however, care about your own feelings, emphasising the importance of you being the hero in their eyes. I'm yet again going to draw this comparison until some aspects of the manosphere finally get it. Can you imagine if a feminist said something similar along those lines in regards to her as a mother? Like, you would all be condemning her as a terrible, selfish, degenerate, modern woman and a failed mother who's just obsessed with herself. We all know this. That's what you'd be doing. See, this is my problem with the manosphere. Can we keep the standards consistent? But so is anyone still unconvinced that this isn't just an infantile display of pseudo-masculinity to serve your own ego? Sacrificing the well-being of your own children just so, quote, dad can be the hero. See, it's good. It's actually good if there's multiple families, you see. Not for the well-being of those families, but so Jazzy Justin has even more little worshippers to put him on a pedestal. Speaking of, we'll get to his vanity later, because there's a lot of it. But, you know, children aren't props to make you feel like a hero. If that's why you're having children, you shouldn't have them. There's a word for this. We know what this is. Isn't this what you call a weekend dad? What everything Justin is explaining and talking about here, but somehow trying to rebrand it as, like, noble. Useless, swoops in on occasions to feel important, and doesn't actually offer support or discipline or is there when it matters. The fun parent who actually hardly does anything. It's a Peter Pan infantile state. He enjoys being the fun parent and providing money and things and getting to be the hero, but not actually doing the hard stuff. That's not a good father, sorry. I don't think anyway. How much time can you realistically have to devote to your children when you are running a business, having frequent affairs, and also have 5 families? Like, it's one thing for children having to come to terms with an absent father who's away so much because he's working to provide for them. But, you know, right, that's noble and honourable, he's doing that for us. That's one thing. It's another thing entirely for a kid to know that your dad is away all the time because he's screwing random women he picked up at a bar with Tristan Tate, and clearly prefers their company to yours. What do we recommend? Good parenting advice? Is it? Is it? Yeah. Sensible? Logical? Rational? The manosphere, ironically, despite all their arguments to the contrary, are the biggest case study that I have found yet as an argument against men being more rational than women. It's just ridiculous. It's just totally ridiculous. I'm not saying women are more rational than men either. I think it's a ridiculous conversation argument. I think men and women probably think differently. I don't think one is inferior to the other. I think both methods and ways of seeing the world and approaching things are valuable and useful. I think if you know, I've said this in the past before, I think if you're going to argue that women are kind of more sensitive or more emotional, whatever it happens to be, then I think we can clearly see that, okay, well, can we say that men act irrationally? If you're going to say women act irrationally because of emotions, men act irrationally when temptation or sex or like making a reckless choice or anger comes into it. They seem to be easily swayed by those kinds of feelings or desires or impulses or emotions. So I think it's just kind of different downfalls and vices for each sex. I mean, so Justin is also famous for saying, quote, "I won't simp for my daughters," which is a very normal, well-adjusted thing to say.
I'm not going to simp for my daughters. I'll love them fully. But if they grow up and turn into a person that doesn't want to get in line with me, or look, here's my goal as a parent. Teach my children how the world works. Give them the skills so they can live on their own terms and give them choice. If they choose not to make me part of their life after I've given them those things, I've still succeeded as a father.
But I guess I'm asking if you're comfortable answering, obviously, but are you wanting to be a role model for your kids? Is that part of
1,000%. A father should show up in every way for his children. I think I'll be better than most fathers, regardless of how many children I have. I might have 100.
But you think part of being a role model, it's okay for your kids not to know even your relationship status with their own mom?
They will know the relationship status with me and their mother.
But you have other relationships with other women, too.
What does that have to do with anything?
But I'm just wondering if you think
I haven't even said that. I'm just saying, like, if I want to, I will.
But you don't think that's a problem for your daughter to know that about their dad? That he has multiple mistresses?
That's up to my daughter, man. You know.
But do you want your daughter to have a guy like that long term?
If he takes care of her in every way and she has a much better life because of it, yeah, I'm cool with that.
Imagine being so afraid to give your heart to any female in case she hurts you that you can't even devote yourself fully to your own child because you can't allow females of any kind to have any sort of emotional power over you. I'll reject my daughters and pretend I don't care what they think before they can reject me and make me feel like a bad father. Brave. Do I have to point out how weak this is? Such a fundamentally insecure character flaw. I'll speak in the language that red pillars understand, seeing as how you misuse evolutionary biology to justify your bad behaviours. So here goes. I'll use evolutionary biology and come up with a just so story. Do you guys honestly think that kind of behaviour and attitude is attractive to a well-adjusted woman? Women. I'm going to say it again. Women, you know, women, the gender more sexually discriminating because we carry the cost, dangers, and time investment for offspring, and from an evolutionary perspective, required paternal investment to give our children the best chance of survival and success. You know this. You guys talk about evolutionary biology all the time. I don't know why you can't seem to understand if you're going to use that argument. From an evolutionary perspective, if a woman's going to be incredibly vulnerable for 9 months, then she needs to be sure, and not just 9 months, also for when there's a newborn baby and then a child in infancy, like in the wild, if you're going to keep talking about this, if she's going to be so vulnerable during that stage, and then when she has an infant, and then when she has young children, surely she's going to be attracted to the men who are more likely to stick around and help provide and help look after her when she's incredibly vulnerable, and even more unable to defend herself if she's heavily pregnant and all the rest of it and got an infant and like all these, like it's just, how can you talk so much about evolutionary biology to justify like, and talk about what that means women are attracted to, and so rarely talk about that? And I know there's that whole dual mating strategy that Rolo bangs on about, which as far as I'm concerned, which I saw that debate that he did with Destiny, which he terrible on his part, and apparently haven't the people who came up with that said that there's no evidence for that from an evolutionary point of view anyway. The whole dual mating strategy they come up with, isn't that proven to be kind of bollocks now? But Rolo keeps banging on about it and saying that the guys who've now just said that the guys who originally came up with the theory have gone, no, we don't think that's got any scientific weight anymore. He won't let go of it because his whole career is based on that. The thing that, like, and then you say that women, again with the logic thing, the thing about women not being scientific, because apparently we base what we believe off our feelings, when all I see is you guys doing that, for what you want to believe, and okay, and you think that as a man, admitting that those children, the children that we would require paternal investment for, and all the rest of it, what I just said, you think as a man admitting that those children can, again, quote, kick rocks because you want to put your pleasure before our offspring and have your investment, time and resources divided between multiple women and children is going to impress us? Who's going to take that choice? Who's going for that? Who's going for that deal? I would say that would put most of us off. Why would we trust you with our offspring, with the continuation of our genetic material, if you are so reckless and selfish? That doesn't make any sense.
They got all these single women out here talking shit about shit, man. Well, cool. I'll have babies with you. What's up?
You sound like a bad father. Why would women want kids with you? Imagine being a parent and saying that you don't care what your kids will think of you when they grow up. Why don't you care? Why don't you care? That doesn't sound as cool as you think it does. I don't care what they think of me. I'll do what I want because I'm a sulky bad boy written by E.L. James.
I live my life unapologetically on my terms. So if my daughters that are overly spoiled and educated in every way and have friends all over the world and world traveled in the best schools in the world, if they have a problem with me at the end of the day, then they can kick rocks too.
I'm used to getting my own way.
Oh yes, a notoriously good parenting style that has never had any negative effects on anyone ever. Being super wealthy, neglecting your kids emotionally, but spoiling them financially by just throwing money at the problem. Jesus Christ. This is such a universally known terrible parenting style that it's an actual trope at this point. The poor little rich kid riddled with issues because daddy didn't love them enough. I mean, I can actually speak to this because I knew some of those kids, okay? Oh my goodness. You don't have to know some of those kids to just know that just objectively sounds terrible. But also, I've got anecdotal, experience with seeing how that turns out. I mean, it's terrible. I think it's fairly clear at this point that, just a bit of care and attention and devotion from a father is genuinely worth more than its weight in gold. Literally worth more than monetary, than throwing money at it. For psychological well-being, for just everything in your life, probably. It's better to have a father who's invested and cares about you and gives you attention, love, guidance, discipline, respect, all of those things. And his presence, that's better than money. That's not a father. What are you talking about? What? Justin Warner genuinely sounds like a misanthropist. Money is not a sufficient substitute for emotional investment, guidance and love, and how disrespectful, by the way, to suggest that ordinary hardworking men who actually invest time and care into their families just aren't as awesome as you are.
I just think it's cool. I just respect my dad a lot for having the option to do what he does and still choosing to remain loyal to my mom. And I know the red pill will say forever, oh, he's cheating. But I don't know. My dad is just, I respect him a lot, and I think it's really cool that he does that.
I think there's a good chance that there's a relationship that your mother and your father have between them that you'll never know about. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he's cheating, but if he did cheat, he's a damn good man from hiding it from all of you so he can continue to paint that picture of reality. Now, I'm not going to do that because I would rather live in truth. Maybe that zeitgeist, that group of men in that age range, that was their strategy. Now that we're in 2022, the strategy, I think that it makes you the best man, shows the most character, is to just tell the truth.
I trust you.
Don't.
But I just don't like the argument that
Because it doesn't feel good to you.
No, it's not that it doesn't feel good. It's that you'll believe what you believe regardless of any evidence to the contrary. So if the evidence says that 1 out of 4 men cheat, you'll say, oh, they all cheat.
I would argue...
And it's like, if I say, no, my dad doesn't cheat, he doesn't do that, you say, well, he probably has an arrangement with your mom behind the scenes. Because that's your
I'm not
worldview.
saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's a chance.
You just implied that, which is fine. Like, I understand that's your worldview. But I just grew up around, like... I would say like the men of value versus high value men, which is just like the type of men that kind of get their money, get their woman, go buy a piece of land and don't want to talk to anybody. And it's just a very different like world than the like one that you guys live in. And that's partially what brought me into the red pill, because I was like, this is what you think high value men are like.
Right. And that's kind of what I'm arguing.
Yeah.
Because you're putting certain life choices with value as a person. And I'm simply saying what created value in his time and certainly in your life, because obviously you've turned out very, very well. Him being valuable in that time and him having that good impact on you is incredible. I'm just simply arguing that a man that in 2022 that tells the truth, takes care of his business, takes care of his family, shows up for his wife in the most important ways, providing, truly loving her, making sure that her life is a fucking carpet ride, and then loving the fuck out of the kids and supporting and doing the right thing that a man should do, because a man does have the burden of performance. And I put that burden of performance right there in the loyalty spot, in the turning up for your family. That is a good man. Not whether you had sex with another woman or whatever. It's the deceit that hurts so badly. And the reason that women are unhappy is because the formula for happiness is the gap between expectation and reality.
Yeah.
Your father gave that to your mother. That's what made him a good man. For me, I would rather not lie, because the world has changed since your father was a father and from when I will be a father. So I'm going to be brave enough, bold enough to love and be impactful enough to tell the truth.
I'm used to getting my own way.
He's so sick. Can you hear what he's doing? Pearl has told him, my father is faithful to my mother. Justin Waller is pretending to believe her, but then he's not. For all his talk of honesty and I'm such an honest man, I'm so truthful, he is being so deceitful, snaky, and just lying and cowardly here. Pearl's called him out to his face and gone, excuse me, you've just implied that my father's cheating on my mother. I'm telling you he's not. Waller goes, oh no, I didn't say that. Then proceeds to say that multiple times. And also, he's so arrogant. Like, this is just extraordinary. And to Pearl's face, disrespect her father and imply that he's a better man than Pearl's father because he's being honest about his bad behaviours, because he's basically saying to Pearl, I don't believe you that your father's not behaving badly, but he's lying about it. And poor little you, you just don't know about it. You're so naive. As for me though, I'm honest. I'm a better man than your dad. That is what he's saying. He'll deny it if he's called out on it, but that is absolutely what he's saying to her face. Like, this is astonishing. You know what? He does not have a moral compass. He does not have logic. He does not have any of these things. He has what he thinks is going to serve him because he's so selfish. Whatever's best for Justin goes, and then he builds his whole worldview and logic and morality compass around what makes him feel good.
We don't have human values like you.
And he's apparently the one who's not a modern degenerate. Okay, sure, bro.
I'll put love first in front of marriage every day of the week, because people get married in America every weekend, putting the marriage and the Facebook pictures before the actual love. So I'll take the love over all the bullshit.
It's because in that moment, you have her in her most vulnerable place.
Vampires often turn on those who trust them, you know.
Yeah.
Like Bible thumping people that want to beat you up with their views and ask silly questions about things that don't matter. Like, is your kid going to be upset that you have other women? All I'm worried about is being a good fucking father and a provider and giving them a life full of love. And if I can do that, I've been quite successful. In fact, I'd say more successful than most Christians.
I'm used to getting my own.
Here is Justin Waller's belief system, and it is a belief system entirely constructed to protect his own fragile ego so he doesn't feel inferior. This is what he has decided to believe. He has decided to believe that all men cheat. Now, it's not true. We all know it's not true. The reason Justin Waller has to believe this to protect his own ego, and I know I'm saying this very confidently, but I feel very confident in this analysis of him, he has to believe that to make himself feel better because he's lacking and he's failing to live up to, he's failing to exercise self-discipline, he is failing to be honourable, he is failing to have integrity, he is failing to be selfless, he is failing in so many ways. But if he tells himself that it's a flaw inherent in men, that this is just how men are, then he gets to feel good about himself. And so what he does is he lies to himself and he lies to his audience. So he presents, rather than being honest, he creates a straw man. Rather than being honest about the discussion and presenting an honest assessment of the other side of the argument and being honest about, well, what's the alternative to Justin Waller's lifestyle? Well, an alternative that I'm very lucky to have benefited from because I have 2 parents who are together, they have 4 children, and my father has been a very good father, a very loyal husband. The alternative is that, a father who's around, who is devoted to his wife and kids, who creates a stable environment for a family, and all of that. That's the alternative. Justin Waller doesn't like that alternative because it makes him feel inferior and like he can't quite live up to that. So what Justin Waller has to do is say that actually, no, that's a lie. The only alternative is all men cheat, because this is what he believes, because he tells himself that. And therefore, the only alternative to Justin Waller being honest about cheating is men who have failed marriages. So they have the only alternative to having multiple families at the same time is getting divorced a lot and having lots of families by different women, but just at a different time. Which obviously we know that's not true. It's not something I've experienced, not something lots of people have experienced. But that's what Justin Waller presents as the only alternative to his lifestyle. Or that men are doing it behind their wife's back. That's the only other alternative. They're doing it behind their wife's back. So he's better than most men because this is something that all men suffer from, but he's being honest about it. Well, it's a lie, and I think he knows it's a lie. But he's lying to himself to protect his own self-image and protect his own ego because, as you can see, he's one of the most self-obsessed, vain, shallow people that I think I've ever come across, and it's deeply unsettling. But that I'm very confident in stating that I think that's fully how he's constructed his worldview, and he's completely delusional. This, by the way, I like how they goes on shows to talk about delusional women a lot. He is one of the most delusional people I've come across, and it's a delusion entirely constructed to preserve his own ego and self-image. Wow. Incredibly fragile.
I would rather not lie because the world has changed since your father was a father and from when I will be a father. So I'm going to be brave enough, bold enough to love and be impactful enough to tell the truth. And you can leave if you want. But if you leave me for a man you love less when I told you the truth, you have to respect that I tell you the truth.
He's actually so disgusting. Portraying himself as the really noble one because he's being honest, so therefore he'll be the bestest father ever.
Find somebody else. I don't feel bad. I'm going to live in truth. Here's the difference between me and most men. Most men are doing this shit behind people's back, right? Like a fucking coward.
Because what you're really not accepting is him as a man, because men are this way.
You're talking about all men, good men, who don't abandon their responsibilities just to justify and not be accountable for your own behaviour. Just accept that you're below average in character, decency and honour. You're a subpar man, and that's okay. Well, actually it's not. But embracing it is better than lying about other people to make sure you don't hurt your own feelings. This is what pisses me off about Waller. He bangs all the time, like he presents himself as like such an honourable guy, and he bangs on all the time about like honour and has this image. He clearly has thinks very highly of himself. And has this, and on the surface of it, if I just came across like the things he posts on his, because I fucking get those notifications all the time, it's so annoying. Now on YouTube, it's like community tabs and like some of the more positive stuff he says. On the surface, you're like, oh, this is really like wholesome, good advice. He seems really honourable. He talks about honour and like hard work and discipline and all these things. Wow, what a stand-up guy. You would think all that if you weren't more aware of him. And I just find it really gross and really hypocritical and cowardly that he's holding himself up as all these things when he's not any of those things really. And he's also throwing men who actually are those things under the bus to make himself feel better. He's just like a little boy, really insecure little boy. And look, this is the problem as well. Like, when I've criticised people in these spaces before in the past for terrible behaviours, people will say, oh, well, they've got some good things to say, they've got some good advice. I never said they didn't, but this kind of bad advice they have is so terrible. It's so terrible, it's polluting their whole message. Justin Waller has some genuinely good advice. Yeah, I'm just not sure how much he believes it, because he talks a good game, kind of like Andrew Tate did, about honour and courage and hard work, and I'm sure some of those elements are true. Like, you know, suppose allegedly, apparently he's a successful businessman and he clearly works out and that kind of stuff. Okay, that's admirable. But the actual, like, meaningful stuff, like character and loyalty and, like, discipline over your own self, it just seems completely beyond him. So he seems to just be succeeding at the more superficial elements of masculinity, which aren't meaningless by any means. Those are also important, you know, being competent in what you do, being ambitious, achieving things, being hardworking, building up a business. It's very admirable, Justin. And I'm sure he has really good advice on how you can build that up and how you know, work out, great. But that doesn't mean that like, there's so much when it comes to just... There's so much other stuff that's just terrible advice. And the problem is when these guys do this, they discredit the good advice they give, and they just enable people to go, oh, that's all of it's toxic masculinity, even when not all of it is, because there's genuinely some parts of what he's saying that is toxic and is harmful to both women and men, and that feminists are going to come along, or not just anyone, and say, hey, that's going to hurt women and children. It just enables people to go, oh, and by the way, if you at all value masculinity or want to be masculine or feel competent or any of those things, then you're a terrible misogynist man. Like, it enables that. So he's actually, I think, doing a lot of harm as well. And that doesn't mean that his advice is worthless. If you've gotten some good things out of what Waller said, that's great, that's brilliant. I'm sure he's done some good, I'm not denying that. He's also doing a whole lot of bad. But this, yeah, like I was saying, you know, I think he's below average in character, decency and honour, which he should embrace and maybe work on himself rather than putting down other men to raise himself up. If you want to raise yourself up, Justin, and I would assume you know this because you seem to be good to talk a good game, why don't you work on raising yourself up and working on yourself rather than putting other men down to make yourself feel better? Bit of feminine behaviour, wouldn't you say? According to you guys. Work on yourself. Stop accusing decent men who don't cheat on their wives or abandon their kids, saying that they're just dishonest and you're noble and true because you're being honest. It's cowardly. Like, you don't represent all men. Like, all these things he talks about, you don't represent all men. You're just an inadequate one who doesn't live up. Is that a narcissistic trait as well? Just out of interest, asking the question. Having a terrible characteristic, but somehow twisting it so that you're still better than most men, so you get to feel like the hero.
The day a man can no longer be a hero for a woman is the day that he'll probably check out.
I think it's good if there's one dad and there's not a bunch of step parents involved, and the dad can be the hero. And those. Let me be your hero.
If I can't be your hero, then I don't want to save you.
I will stand by you.
But what we can be sure of, and I am 100% certain of this, is that there will be absolutely no daddy issues in your offspring's future, Justin. On top of that, I'm sure that none of your daughters, if you have any, will feel abandoned or ignored by her father, and I'm totally confident that as a result, they will never have any difficult relationships with men as they try to capture the male attention and protection denied to make up for what their father could not give them, leading to years of self-esteem issues. I mean, I have seen that happen, actually. Or alternatively, become angry at men and masculinity and reject it completely, which is also something that never happens to girls whose fathers have failed them. These men create the women they sneer at and look down on. And the audacity to, like, speak about women who have issues with men in that kind of derogatory way, yet also advocating for the kinds of behaviours that leads to women having issues with men. Wow! You solved society, Justin!
The human condition is that things aren't always amazing, right? We have bad days, we get sick, terrible accidents can happen. And so that's where the power of love comes in, a love that doesn't leave, a love that isn't based on feelings or desire, but a love that's based on choice. And I think deep down, we're all wired for that. Even men that like you were saying, Justin, like, I want to be with multiple women and everything. I think deep down, we want a love that stays, a love that lasts. And it is possible for everyone, every single person at this table. I guarantee you 1,000% it is possible for you.
Not for asexual people.
Yeah, but I would argue that, like, who are you to tell me that I'm not going to be happy because I don't choose your path?
Yes. I don't think I said that.
Pretty much, you reframed it in that way. So who are you to say that?
I will say.
Or do you think I'm going to be less happy than you?
I think that if you live your life, and you said you're not sharing whether or not you're doing this, so we're all talking in hypothetical, right. So I don't know exactly how you're living, right? You didn't share that. But if hypothetically you live your life where you are starting multiple families with multiple women.
What if I have one family and 50 girlfriends?
I think in the end it will bring great unhappiness to
Okay.
your family, to your children, to the mother of your children,
Okay,
and to
cool.
you.
Okay.
I like how defensive Justin is as well. Like, he's really upset that people feel morally superior to him because he knows that he's screwing up the lives of multiple people due to his own selfishness and lack of self-control. So he has to go the worst case scenario of a man with a string of failed marriages and multiple children by different women. Like, I think the only reason, I don't know, for me it just reads as obvious. I think he's insecure, like I said, and I think the only reason he's so defensive about it is because he knows that he's behaving badly.
I don't want you to think I'm triggered by you. I'm not.
Okay.
I saw somebody say that, and I think that's interesting. I think you're annoying, but I'm not triggered. You know what I'm saying? No, you are. You're annoying in like this goody two-shoes type way, and that's fine. I'm going to live my life on my terms, unapologetically.
And he does feel inferior, which I think is why he gets so triggered when someone acts like they're morally superior to him or questions his lifestyle. Probably going to create that triggered response. Why? Because I think it's touching on some kind of wound there where he goes, oh, I do actually believe that about myself on some level, that yes, I am being terrible and I'm not being the best I could be, and I talk all this stuff about honor and decency, but I'm not actually living up to it. And wow, that hurts when someone points it out. So yeah, I'm going to get mad.
If a guy decides to have a bunch of children, I mean, you see it happen all the time. Guy gets married, he's a shitty father, shitty husband, ends up getting a divorce, and then goes has babies with the next chick, doing the same thing I'm doing, except I'm not a lying coward about it.
I hear you.
So,
I see that. I see that.
What it is.
But I think the big question is, it seems like you're really focused on self-improvement, which is awesome. And so I guess my question would be, is it ideal? Like, what are we striving towards individually, right? And what do we think is best for society? And I think kids want to know their parents love each other and are committed till death do they part to each other.
Yep, didn't say any of that wasn't true. You're the one saying that's not true.
I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I believe in love and marriage and in regards to taking care of a woman fully and your responsibilities as a father and a provider and protector, 100%. In fact, I think that's probably what's broken about the world.
I just find it amazing that Justin Waller thinks that not being a responsible father, provider, and a protector are the things that are broken about the world. And yet this is what he preaches.
It's because in that moment, you have her in her most vulnerable place.
Go off, King. In my humble opinion, if I could offer a counter to the idea Justin has presented, I would say that a good father would actually care about his children as real people and not just extensions of himself who he'd heartlessly let walk out of his life if they didn't, quote, get in line with him, which in Justin's case just means not questioning and encouraging his lifestyle.
I'm not going to simp for my daughters. I'll love them fully. But if they grow up and turn into a person that doesn't want to get in line with me or...
Your children sound like vanity projects made to honor your own success so you can feel like the hero. And if your children aren't affirming your self-perceived identity... See what I'm doing there? Your deluded, self-created, grandiose idea you have of yourself, but might actually be challenging it. Well, they can go kick rocks. Very mature, Justin. Dad of the decade. Personal development? Never heard of him.
If I can't be your hero, then I don't want to save you.
I was going to do a section here on Justin Waller's, in my opinion, excessive vanity. How he's constantly posing and pouting in many ridiculous ways all over Instagram, flashing his watch, and very clearly flexing in like every picture. It's funny. And how I was going to do a section on that and just how off-putting and the opposite of manly it comes across as. However, the problem with manosphere fashion extends far beyond just Mr. Waller, so I've decided to do a separate video on it, just for fun, to talk about the poodle men. The poodle men, you all know who I mean with the poodle men. Overly groomed, pouting, self-obsessed, badly dressed men pretending to be real dogs. Like the metaphor? Poodle men. That's what we're calling them from now on. But for fun, just quickly, I will do another video on it because I hate how they dress. I hate their fashion. It's terrible. It's awful. The vanity that is just the opposite of the manly thing they're going for. However, just for fun, just so you get a little teaser, a hint of what I mean, Here is a photo of Justin Waller trying to look sexy with a bucket of KFC. Why? Justin, are you okay? Look at that picture. Look at that picture and tell me if that man looks like he's okay. I'm not sure. Just, what is this? What is that? What? I just can't imagine. Is it just an American thing? I just cannot imagine any guy in the UK being able to do that and get away with it without his mates just absolutely shredding him to pieces. Americans, you've got to stop allowing your people to get away with this without having the piss ripped out of them, okay? This level of ridiculous self-obsession will never be hot. When will people learn? It's like David Brent, sorry, I can't. If Ricky Gervais was gonna do a parody of like some obnoxious influencer guy who was just like self-obsessed and vain to the extreme, like he'd do ridiculous photos like that. What was the stupid like parody music video he did about like My Gypsy Love or something? He's giving those vibes. Oh my god, I just thought, oh no, Justin. The poodle men need me. I think they need me to just, you do. I think you need me to tell you just not to do this. Do you need someone to tell you that? I feel like if I was in charge of the poodle men's image, it would be improved. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, this is just an instant turn off. I don't know who needs to hear this. This is an instant turn off. I promise. Unless, I don't know, maybe, I don't know what girls are, there will be some, I don't know, there will be some women who are attracted to that, and I'm baffled, but there will be. Girls, no, I need to set the scene. Imagine how this is in reality, okay? I need you to imagine, you're with a guy, and he's constantly stopping and posing and pouting. Imagine that process. Imagine that process on a day out with him as he's taking multiple photos of himself until he gets the right one. No, you need to, and you just have to wait for the smouldering and the flexing to stop. Oh my god. My life just flashed before my eyes. Like that's it. I'm sorry. Like, never touch me again. I can't look at you the same way. You were pouting and trying to look sexy with KFC, Justin. We'd have to part ways, I think, with immediate effect. How is this masculine? How is it masculine? How is this manly? How is this rugged and man? Oh my god. I mean, it's not, is the answer. It's just fully not. It's vanity. It's really vain. It's not manly at all. This is the other funny thing. All the comments that I saw anyway when I was looking at Justin Waller's pictures, and I'll go over this in the Poodle Men video because it's really funny. This just appeals to men. Like, almost all the comments are like men been like, you go Justin, beast. Yeah, and like fire emojis, like other men like hyping him up, which is fine, that's really sweet. That's great that men have a space to do that. But I'm just saying, which is fine, there's not a problem with that. However, if you are trying to appeal to women, you're doing it wrong. I'm just saying that if you are trying to be sexually attractive to women, that is not, no thank you. See, a lot of men probably won't understand me saying that Justin Waller is borderline repulsive. That sounds mean, let me explain. Women, I know you get it. I know the girls will get it. And the men won't get it because of it, but he's really like attractive and he's really like buff and he's all of these things. Wow, of course women will love him, and I think that's why he has a huge male following, because you look at that and go, wow, the women will love that. Okay, you are wrong. I mean, obviously there is some women who will go for that, probably. Oh, do I have to say something mean about people in Miami again? Like, there are clearly some girls who are going for that. A lot of women are going to be repulsed by that. And it's not because Justin Waller is physically repulsive, okay? Like, objectively, he's not a bad-looking guy, and he could be attractive. Like, he's got the potential, obviously. Like, he could be attractive. I know I've been mean about the ginger thing. No, it's fine. I've got red in my hair. There are lots of attractive gingers, okay? I'll stand by that. I'm team ginger. I was mean about them earlier, but he's not a bad-looking guy. He should be attractive, but he's just not. Like, it's the energy, it's the pouting, it's all the flashy, weird, performance-y stuff, it just oozes sleaze. It oozes sleaze, and it's not just not attractive to women. It's actively repulsive. It's actively off-putting. At least, like, it's just really horrible and repellent. In my opinion, I find it probably a lot of women. Some women might disagree, but I'm just saying there's a big part of women that are going to look at that and go, ooh, it's just a bit sleazy, it makes my skin crawl a little bit, please stay away from me. So I just thought you might want to hear that perspective. I'm sorry, that was really mean, but I can't with the poodle men. I cannot with the poodle men. You need to stop. Someone needs to rein you guys in. You just need to stop. Can you guys please show some originality, imagination, and just, frankly, good taste? Okay? It's tacky, Justin. It's tacky. You're tacky. You're tacky. The graphic is tacky. You're tacky. The photos are tacky. It's tacky. I cannot believe you are a real person, Justin. You seem like a parody. David Brent could never.
Like, if you're not a formidable force, there's no morality in your self-control.
There's a very convenient narrative at the moment that anyone who calls out men like Andrew Tate or Justin Waller just hate masculinity, okay? Or have like a vendetta or a resentment or viciousness against men. Which of course was a narrative started by the Tates to deflect attention away from the very serious legal problems they currently find themselves in. It's an easy way to dismiss all criticisms without actually addressing it. I want to make it very clear that a lot of people calling these guys out, myself included, aren't doing so because we want men to be downtrodden and hate masculinity and we don't want men to feel powerful. It's because this isn't what healthy, secure masculinity looks like. This is a mockery of it. Like I've said before, it's peacocking, okay? It's peacocking. It's a performance. It's just a rebranding of destructive behaviours as masculinity, which not only harms the people having to deal with this childish behaviour, but also, by the way, it harms society's image of men. You are doing the opposite of what you claim. You are not bringing positive masculinity back. You are creating one of the biggest PR disasters I've seen in a very long time. And believe it or not, I'm actually worried that it's all going to blow up and make everything just worse for men. Like, if you keep insisting that this is your essential nature as men and how you should behave and how you're wired to behave and therefore allowed to behave, you will only make the crisis and rejection and hatred and sometimes self-hatred of masculinity worse. And people will distance themselves from masculinity if they don't want to be associated with or seen to be supporting harmful, undisciplined, selfish, or even illegal behaviour. But to make matters worse, little boys like Waller see an example of mature masculine behaviour and call it weakness.
There are times where I feel like he's a bit hypocritical.
Because he used to be atheist and now he's...
No issue with that, really. It's really more to me about he's running around telling young men to be strong and all this other shit.
It's the meanest, toughest male that rules.
And then the first thing he does is go start popping pills and doesn't face it.
Prescribe an anti-anxiety medication.
And he also talks about being capable. I don't find him to be overly capable. I know he's an older man. I don't mean no disrespect to him. He's very well accomplished, has accomplished a lot. But in those regards, I've found him to be a bit hypocritical.
Wow, yeah, Jordan Peterson, what a loser. He's not who young men should be listening to. No, I mean, I know he's helped God knows how many young men, and men in general, find purpose in their lives, prevented I don't know how many men from unaliving themselves, inspired men to heal their relationships with their fathers and find value in themselves and what they do. I know personally, by the way, of so many men he's helped. But yeah, no, you should be listening to Justin Waller. Yeah, who pouts in tight jeans on Instagram, takes videos in sports cars smoking cigars, and tells you to have children with multiple women. Oh, the depth. Oh, wow, the depth to, like, his message. Just, like, what a childish view of masculinity. A lot of red pill guys will say that women will leave you if you show weakness in front of them and they'll lose respect for you and blah, 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 all this. Like Fresh and Fit going on about, like, never cry in front of your girl, never show her weakness, she will leave you, she will lose respect for you. Waller has made the mistake that a lot of incredibly emotionally immature people make, where they think that any display of vulnerability, emotion, or honesty about your failings is a weakness. You don't have to be like that in order to be masculine. And by the way, for an emotionally intelligent woman, it is unconvincing because she will know that you do have vulnerabilities or failings, like everyone does, but you're just too cowardly to admit to them or share them with her, and that reads as insecurity and weakness. Or that you're lying to yourself and not being honest about, yeah. I mean, going too far the other way can also backfire on you. Not every show of vulnerability is weakness. Are you an 8-year-old boy? The answer to that, of course, is yes. It's also, I think, extremely unfair and arrogant, this assessment of Peterson. Just a reminder for the class, for Justin Waller, do we remember how he came to prominence? Can we remember that? He stood up in favour of free speech I know a lot of people say it was an anti-trans thing, but it's always been a free speech issue. It was about compelled speech. That was his motivation for what he did, because there've never been compelled speech laws before. He stood up in favour of free speech against immense social and professional pressure, against the Canadian government, risked his career, dealt with an amount of backlash I can't even imagine, was called everything under the sun, and refused to be swayed because his principles were that strong. And though I have my criticisms of him and disagreements with him, I'll always respect him for that. Do you have any idea how hard that is, Mr. Waller? You know, that's actually an example of extraordinary strength, by the way, as in beyond ordinary, because most people can't do that. I guess, though, being a Tate knockoff, you wouldn't understand the concept of forging your own path, would you? Just nodding and agreeing with everything that Andrew Tate says next to him like a puppy. We know this. We've seen this from both history and countless studies. Most people are unwilling to go against social pressure and popular opinion because it is so hard. And that's an example of weak masculinity, apparently, to you, Justin. He's not as competent as you, is he? Mr. Tight jeans, multiple baby mamas, lacking self-control Waller? I'm just blown away by the arrogance. So Peterson proves that he has courage and is willing to stand on what he believes in. But because Peterson also got hooked on antidepressants, context of that is that he was dealing with an amount of public attention and pressure that hardly anyone in all of history has ever had. An amount the human mind is not evolved to deal with, and on top of that he had health issues, and oh yes, his wife was dying. Guess it's not masculine to be sad about that. Then, by the way, he overcame that addiction and is back in the public eye producing content a short while later. Yeah, all of that is an example of a weak man, because again, Justin is an 8-year-old boy who thinks admitting to having struggles makes you weak. Sorry Jordan Peterson didn't fight a crocodile with his bare hands, but life is not a movie. Not everyone can be Steve Irwin. R.I.P. Steve, my childhood hero. Fun fact, as a kid, I saw him at his zoo and it was the best moment of my life. Moving on. Here's the point I'm trying to make here, and I want to make this very clear. Me defending Jordan Peterson here is not me saying that he never messed up or never stumbled or how dare anyone criticise him. There are things to criticise, but I don't think that the things Justin is going at him for are fair, particularly given the state of Justin. What I am saying is that it's a toxic mentality to have that one cannot be an example of strength if you failed. Guess what? Everyone fails. I don't think this makes Peterson a hypocrite or contradict his message. Like, oh, he says take self-responsibility, yet he also got addicted to drugs. The test of character, I think, comes not from the failure or the vulnerability, but how you deal with the failure and the vulnerability. There is no escaping weakness and failure in life. I think Peterson has proven that he has the courage to stand by his principles. You could see the antidepressants and him becoming overwhelmed as a failure, but having moments of weakness does not make you weak. He was also open about his struggles, which I think takes a lot of courage, okay? There can be strength in vulnerability. This is why I think the oversimplification a lot of the manosphere does about not showing weakness and women losing respect for you if you show vulnerability is so stupid. Speaking as a woman, yeah, of course, don't be a pathetic wet lettuce all the time. But here's the nuance, okay? I do not see Jordan Peterson as weak when I see him tearing up in interviews when he's talking about young men. It's such a childish bloody... Like, if a woman sees any expression of a man crying as automatically weak, she is either really fucking stupid or just emotionally like a 6-year-old. Sometimes it does mean that he's weak, and sometimes it doesn't, but it's all about the context and the nuance. I don't see him as weak for tearing up in interviews when he's talking about young men. I actually gained more respect for him when I saw that. Why? Because I thought, Jesus Christ, he's really been through hell in the past couple of years. I admire his strength and character, the fact that, yes, he broke under the pressure, but also had the strength to get back up and come out the other side. And my heart is warmed by how deeply he feels compassion for the people he's reaching. I don't agree with him on everything, but I still admire Jordan Peterson. I think he stands by his principles, and I do believe he genuinely wants to help people, even though I'm not thrilled about the Daily Wire team-up. It's arrogant to say he's an incapable hypocrite because at one point he broke under the pressure of all the things he was dealing with. Potentially losing his wife, physical pain from health problems, so much public pressure. implying that you're a better role model because you pinned a comment beneath that video criticising Peterson for being an incapable hypocrite. You pinned a comment beneath that video saying how we need more masculine role models and selling your alpha male course. So technically it's a link to Andrew Tate's, formerly known as Hustlers University, now known as The Real World. I mean, Justin Waller is clearly highly connected.
You've made the right decision. The Real World is the #1 school in the world.
It's Jay Waller. This is his own website is highly connected to the War Room and the Real World, and it's got all sorts of links and shit all for that. Justin Waller seems to have a section where he's got a little promo vid and a section on who he is, his like success. So it's still clearly him presenting himself as an alpha teacher, amazing masculine role model, and he's clearly one of these teachers on Andrew Tate's scammy website. The other thing that really irritates me about this, here we go. So he's really highly connected with the War Room and Andrew Tate, who is an admitted scammer. He's admitted on camera to scamming men. Also, I just want to point out the thing that really winds me up about this. So this link, this website. So this is Jay Waller, The Gentleman's Guide to Becoming an Abundant Man. This is the thing that will never cease to irritate me about Justin Waller, his presentation of himself. He clearly thinks he's some kind of, like I said at the beginning, like really suave gentleman. He is, in no sense of the word, a gentleman. The furthest thing from being gentlemanly or having any kind of, worthy of respect. Can we say that? So yeah, and it's just absolutely laughable and ridiculous that this is the man promoting himself, pins, beneath a video of him shitting all over Jordan Peterson. So wow, really gentlemanly behaviour here, really classy, Justin. In the interest of trying to be as fair as possible, this is from Jay Waller Clips channel, which it says is the official Clips channel of Justin Waller, and seems to have a lot of subscribers, although the views are very low. So technically, I don't know if it's got a link to his official YouTube channel on here, but I don't know if this is run by him. If it's not, congratulations, Justin. You're slightly less tacky, only slightly. So yeah, just in the interest of trying to be as fair as possible, he might not have done that. How big of an ego do you need to think that you're having a better impact on men than Jordan Peterson, when you've admitted many times that you don't even have the self-control to keep it in your pants? And also, by the way, psychologically torment your girlfriends. Hey Justin, when you're his age and you're dealing with worldwide pressure from your own industry, the entire Western media, and the Canadian government, and at the same time you have severe health problems and also the love of your life is dying, when that happens and you don't have some moments of vulnerability, then you can get online and talk about how you're a stronger man than Jordan Peterson and real men are always stoic and sell your shitty knockoff alpha course. You are one trashy motherfucker. And look, I understand that most men don't necessarily process or express emotions in the same way that women do. And I'm not saying they should have to, okay? And I'm not saying it's necessarily even bad to give advice, like, okay, man up in like certain contexts. But like this other extreme and pressure to be perfect amid a men's mental health crisis where they're feeling worthless and self-deleting in record numbers just seems like a terrible alternative to put on men. Like, yes, as I said, it can be a healthy message to tell men to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, and sometimes saying man up is appropriate. Yes, sometimes it is appropriate to say that. And yes, being a weepy, incompetent mess isn't going to be attractive to women. But also, chill. Don't get ridiculous with it. There's breathing room here, okay? No one is demanding perfection, and you need space to be vulnerable occasionally. And if your girlfriend leaves you because you were vulnerable in front of her one time, like how the red pillars say will happen, she's probably a terrible person and she does not care about you, and you're better off without her. If you're really, really weak and incapable of doing anything, then yeah, you probably need to work on that. But if you're like cry in front of her one time or are vulnerable and she leaves you, she doesn't care about you, because people don't do that to people they care about. And that's not women. That's the most evil version of women, most extreme, unforgiving version of women that the red pillars can come up with. That's the worst example of a woman. I don't know, maybe you shouldn't be trying to attract that into your life. I'm just really hoping that this manosphere fad is getting old for most people now. I think it probably is. Like, it's just little boys in their fast cars with their crypto and their Instagram girlfriends thinking they're the height of evolved masculinity. It's a cheap performance, and they are unable to recognise real strength or value because they have none. And I'm not saying that means that you can't enjoy having money or a fast car or like a hot girlfriend or like... that's fine. I'm just saying, it's when you place all your value and worth on that and say that this is my symbol of masculinity, that's when it's bad. That's when it's shallow. Just like for women, it's not bad to want to, here's the parallel. It's not bad for women to want to look beautiful or to want to look, buy beautiful clothes or to look gorgeous or to enjoy being attractive. That's all fine. But if you place all your value on that and think, and this is what is valuable about me and this is what means the most about me is my beauty, then that's bad. And you go, this is my femininity. This is who I am as a person. This is my value and worth in the world is all this work I've had done and all the makeup and how hot I look. Then that's bad. So you see, it's the things in themselves aren't bad. It's the value you put on them. So my opinion on Waller versus Peterson is simple. One is style and one is substance. When I say style, I don't mean actual style, I just mean style as in style of the substance, because there's nothing stylish about Justin Wattpad-Waller. One is a boy playing at being manly and cool, and the other is a grown man with responsibilities and integrity. One of them can't dress himself, and the other looks damned handsome in a snappy suit. That's all for now. Video on the Poodle Men coming soon. Look after yourselves.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tat.